Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk, Thinking Right, in my YouTube classroom where I do what I do in my living room with my kettle on my shoulder for you. Today, rising 25 rules to live by storytelling, story with a message and a story for life. These are life lessons. I hope you're getting them. Numbers showing me somebody is, so I appreciate you. Who the ones who doing, I appreciate you. See the subscribe and going up too. Appreciate that. Today, we're going to talk about what I do all the time. But before we get there, let's take care of my mission statement. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Once you know who you are, I'm big on that. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily. You have to put the work in. Will help and guide you to obtain your appointed goal of what? Spiritual enlightenment, aka to know thyself. In order to do that, you need to know which one of these persons are you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not but know that they know not is simple. I can teach you tuning. That's why I do what I do for you. A person who knows not but believe that they know, dangerous. I avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep. It's your boy, you hear my alarm clock. Let's go. I got you. Spiritual awakening is what I'm trying to get you to do. Wake up. A person who knows and knows that they know is why. Follow them. All these persons, they reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to my yacht be true. Yeah, the balance is big, and I'm big on keeping it in my life. Why? Because it makes everything go smooth. Trust me on that one. Practice it. You'll see. All right, right thinkers. Let's talk about why I think right thinking is being conscious. Yeah, we're talking about, yeah, it's a mental thing. We got to keep our heads in the game. We got to be thinkers. Right thinking is based on the premise of you using your head for some other than the hat rack like mine, okay? But I got something up under here. I'm keeping it covered. Really a bad hair day, but that's another thing. I got to see Uncle Leroy. Birthday coming up. So, all right, I'll take care of that. Let's get to the thing. Today, right thinkers, let's talk about being conscious, all right? Right thinkers are conscious people. Why? Because we're thinkers. That's the key. Let's go. Now, first of all, being conscious is knowing who you are, aka, again, knowing thyself. Being conscious of who you are means you're aware of at least who you are. Okay? Having understanding of how things work in the world, aka nature, I have a good understanding of how nature works, and that's part of understanding how human beings work. Okay, we're in a cycle just like nature. So you figure nature out, you pretty much understand how we're working. But thinking is the process that makes that possible. Being able to make good decisions at any time, knowledge of self will make that easy for you. Why? When you know who you are, you can make good decisions based on knowing who you are. And whatever decision you're confronted with, you can make a good decision. Not knowing who you are, being ignorant and confused, put us in a bad predicament most of the time. Okay? So it's not a good place to be. Be conscious. If you're conscious, you're thinking. Your thinking faculties is what? Above average. The average Joe think he know who he is. He got his name, but that's about as far as they go. A conscious person know who they are on the inside, spiritually and mentally. Okay, that's what's important. That's what right thinking philosophy tries to get you to understand. If you not, if you're not conscious, you don't know who you are, and that means you're ignorant to self, aka you're mentally and spiritually dead, pretty much. Without knowledge of self, you just here. You ain't really progressing. It's not what you want to be doing. You don't want to live in a what they call an unconscious state of mind, an ignorant state of mind. Okay? If anybody told you, if anybody believes that ignorant is bliss, you are crazy. Not knowing something is okay, but not knowing who you are, not good. Okay, so get the concept. Okay, unconsciousness is not being. Unconscious is not being aware of what's going on within you or even around you. That's that person who don't know and know that they don't care. That's foolish. Okay, that's being unconscious. All right. If you're unconscious, you're considered asleep. Mm-hmm. Unaware, dull, lifeless. Sometimes we think you're suckers. On the street, if you ain't thinking, you're going to get beat. Why? Because we can outthink you, and that's what we do on the streets. So if you ain't really thinking, you're going to get beat. And the phrase is, if you ain't down, don't come messing around, or you sure will get beat. Okay? Your brain, your brain works constantly. Even when you sleep, the dream state, the unconscious state, the subconscious, that's your brain still working. Even when you're unconscious, meaning you don't know what's going on, the brain's still working. You just got to focus and pay attention. It's doing its job. You got to tune in and understand. If you are ignorant and don't mind being ignorant, you're going to have problems. Okay? The ignorant mind is the devil's workshop. That means you're unconscious to what's being done around you, and you may fall for any and everything that may not be good for you. Hence, idle mind is the devil's workshop. If you have mind in on God, if you're not prayed up, if you ain't conscious of God and be in that state of mind, the devil will run you crazy. You're serving your ego. Another lesson about we talked about that already. Okay, now let's talk about the subconscious. This is one of my favorite parts. Why? Because this is where I dwell. The subconscious state of mind is that 95% that runs the body that nobody cares about, thinks about. We only use at most 5%, and I'm being generous. I used to give you 10. I found that we ain't even using 5% of our brain capacity. That's scary. Why? Because that means we ain't got a lot of dumb people. If you functioning on 5% of brain capacity, you're considered elite. 10% genius. We ain't going there. But my point is, you need to be thinking. You need to be conscious. You need to be paying attention and being aware of everything. Not just you, but things going around you also. Okay? Unconscious is not being aware of what's going on around you. Okay? Excuse me, we doing subconscious. Sorry about that. We doing subconscious state of mind. Subconscious runs the body. You don't have to think about the heartbeat. You don't have to think about the intestine. All those things are run by the subconscious. When you let it go to sleep, you're practicing dying. But the subconscious does what it does. It goes into the dream state. It goes into the deep dream state. Okay, but these are places that the mind go on its own. If you learn to tap into it, if you become a right thinker, I'm going to teach you how to do just that. You will have fun with your own brain capacity. Trust me, the subconscious runs 90% of all your conscious actions in your body. You don't really control nothing. The subconscious dictates and calls the show. What little bit time that you are aware when you're conscious, and if you're not God conscious, that's far and few between, because a lot of us just walk around in the fog and just do what comes natural. No control, no self-control, none of those things that you need to do to run you and be the best you can be by thinking first. Your subconscious does everything, even when you don't know it. Again, it runs the show. Your subconscious is on its job 24/7, 365. Again, you need to tap into it. They call it the subconscious, really the Akashic Records area. That's the area where the brain is infinite, limitless in knowledge and understanding. You got to tap into it. That's what ISIS comes in at. Another lesson. I ain't going there. Get back. We do subconscious. All right. I get a little caught up doing my thing. All right. But the brain, the subconscious mind is the shot caller. Trust me. Tap into your subconscious, get understanding, and use it for what it's worth. It got everything you need and some. Trust me. Next one is right thinking philosophy gives you super consciousness. What the AKA, It gives your subconscious. When you tap into your subconscious and understand it, you become super conscious. Watch this. Now, this is the fun part. With knowledge of self, aka truth, you acquire super consciousness, meaning you tap into the subconscious mind and you have unlimited knowledge and understanding and information about yourself already built in. You're using it. You ain't got to go outside yourself to get it. It's there, waiting for you to tap into it. Once you do that, right thinking will help you do that. Super consciousness is gaining right thinking mastery of self. Yeah. Why? Because once you start thinking and understand how your brain works and how you can work it for yourself, you become a lot better. Super consciousness meaning you're up top of your game mentally. All right. Did that one. Self mastery is actually achieving super consciousness in your lifetime, becoming master of self control, mastery of every aspect of your character. That's not easy to do. So when you do that, you achieve that super consciousness. All right. Super consciousness is having knowledge of self, living, doing, being on a day-to-day basis. And when you master that, it will become a routine. It'll become habit. That's what I did. All right. For you. Practicing your right thinking philosophy daily, and you will become super conscious over a period of time with practice. Like anything else, practice gets you better. Okay? I'm still practicing, so don't worry about it. Last one, I appreciate you tuning in again. Wow, I'm running a little long. These lessons are getting a little longer now. I got to back it up a little bit. All right, here you go. Being conscious, a.k.a. being awoke, being aware at the present moment. The ancients, well, not even the ancients, you got the Hopi Indians, they didn't have a word for past and future. They only lived in the now, the moment. I can get with that. Makes a lot of sense. All right. Why? I live in the present, not the past. And nothing I can do about that is over. The future haven't gotten here yet, and it never will. So living in the present is what you should be doing. Right thinking. We'll break that down. Hopefully you understand it a little bit better. You can only affect what? The present. Past, can't do nothing about. The future, you can just set the tone. Hopefully you get there. But you only can affect the present. Understand that. The phrase wake up means to start paying attention to what's going on in you and around you. Become conscious state of mind, meaning you're paying attention with these eyes and the third eye. You're seeing out and in. You're getting the complete picture. Come up out the matrix. See the world for what it really is. Even yourself. All right. If you live in the present, you are awake. I want you to know yourself with knowledge of self so you can live in the present. Every day you'll be present, and every moment you're present, you're conscious of who you are. You're a right thinker. I'll be back.